Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Frismel, and today we're back with some more Cult of Lamb. Yeah, again, it's nearly been a couple of weeks since I last uploaded something. Oh, we got another dissenter? That's terrible. Can't I just, like, re-educate you now? No, we can't do that. But yeah, how are we all doing? How are we all doing indeed? Yeah, I'm keeping busy. Work's been the main thing at the moment, and sort of the extra hours and stuff, which has me bad. Noticed a lot more people have subscribed to the channel, so welcome. I do appreciate every single one of you. I mean, for me, it's more the fact that, I take pride that, people enjoy the content I put up more than anything else. Enough that they wish to hit a button. I do appreciate everyone. I joke around a little bit and try to relax, though my upload schedule has been a little bit scatterbrained this week. I think I probably missed a couple of days earlier on, so... Yeah, got the Halloween event still ongoing with this, which is, annoying, but it's ongoing. I wouldn't say annoying, but, Take the ghost. Now you, my friend, in prison. Now you're gonna get re-educated. But yeah, it's been one of those things, and I've got a good amount of like other stuff ongoing, right? And Cult seems to be good. What's up with you? What to say? Oh, you got something for me? What is it? That word we separated. Never knew what became of him. Do you think you can find? Okay, fine. Gotta go to Darkwood then. We'll do that. I think everyone is good. We got nothing else. We'll do my praying, my sermons. But yeah, I've been like just keeping up work, chilling out, doing videos when I can do, and recording some when I can as well, which is kind of nice. So got a bit of a break now for the weekend because I've got other plans to do as well, which I'll end up going out shopping for the holidays as such. So that's going to be nice and fun and entertaining. We'll still take those. So that's kind of like, what's been going on as such. Do we re-educate completely? Not completely. We can do you again, right? Yeah, there we go. One more on both, and they should be free to go. So yeah, it's I don't know, just being able to like chill out a little bit more and stuff has kind of been nice, right? Like that for me, that's the main thing. I like the opportunity to relax when I can get the opportunity to. And like it takes its toll from work, and I've been probably a little bit more wound up about it recently. Not for like my own sake or stuff, but how do I say, like, when underhanded stuff happens, but you kind of just shrug it off because it's a minor issue, right? Like, it's not at the forefront of your mind at the time, so it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, can throw it back. But it becomes more and more apparent the more and more kind of corrupt things happen. And what I mean by that is kind of like pettiness and backhanded things and all that jazz, sorry. So I'm not really like a person that kind of worries or stresses about many things, right? As long as I can, live a good and healthy lifestyle, and I have fun, I enjoy stuff, and, I can support, the things that I care to support as well alongside that, that's all that matters to me, right? Simple life goals, right? There's no point overcomplicating things more than necessary, so... You'd be surprised how many people do, though. Thank you. So yeah, I've been basically having more people at least do things that would be indicative of a bad work culture and environment, which does make me think, like, I always think about it eventually, like, you know, is this a place I want to work? Is my skill sets developed? Do I want to move on somewhere else? Do I want to develop my skills in other areas and stuff? Like, those sort of stuff is coming up more often than not now, rather than it being like maybe sort of like a fleeting thing. Nah, I'm still good for a bit. To, okay, maybe I should start seriously brushing up my CV and my skill set again and getting back out there to essentially put myself in the open market as such. What does that mean for me overall if I do go down that route? Probably picking up a lot of external work, doing a lot more freelance based, which will help me survive during an interim period if I decide to go down that route. For good or bad, right? But it's basically what will end up happening, and that might cut into my free time a little bit, which will be kind of annoying. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Work hard, play hard, and all that. But it's kind of, could get, yeah, actually do need some more followers, to be honest. We'll pick them up while we can. Yeah, nice. Good discount. Is it the thing I really want to be doing? Not really at the moment. Like, I'm probably still away from it. I'm still learning enough, and I've got, like, implementation benefits and experience in what I'm doing currently at the moment, so there is a reason for me to kind of, like, think about hanging around and completing all that work, and then at which point the discussions when that's all over of what my responsibilities are and what needs to be done will come across, and then that's when we'll have the discussions. And at that point, I'm already in the market, right? My first point of call is to make my position known to my employer and then basically say, look, I will be looking at other opportunities. These are the reasons why. That you can do anything to stop me from doing it, and the answer will be either yes or no, and then they'll go, okay, fair enough, that's what we'll do. If they give me a blasé kind of, which they, with other companies have done in the past, of just like, oh, well, we can't do anything at the moment, it's an instant just, yeah, okay, we're not going to bother with that argument then. You don't want to pay money, and you're going to have to hire to replace me. Which is hilarious, because every time I ever leave a place, I joke about it, but normally an entire trail of destruction is left once they shut down all my accounts. I don't cause it, it's just a lot of companies do the exact same thing, and if any of you work with like IT or technology, you probably know this as well, is permissions on system access and stuff like that. So it's probably a more complex way of doing it, but it's kind of how like, I describe it to myself anyway. You know, I have my own ways to describe things and try and understand them. But essentially, my account has a certain level of permissions on it, which allow me to run particular reports, which are automated and basically run particular things. Now, if you remove my account, my permissions disappear, thus the reports don't run. I have been in situations where people don't realize that, forget to transfer those reports and permissions, and suddenly their entire infrastructure reporting system goes down. It would not be the first time it happens, it will not be the last time it happens, right? It is generally the rule that I end up following when it comes down to stuff, right? So I'm kind of interested to see on where I decide to do that later down the line, right? Now, I'd rather keep my weapon, to be honest. Yeah, we'll leave those. Do I think I do need a change? There is that as a question at the moment. But I would say it to everyone. It's like, when you're looking at stuff and you want to know stuff, sometimes you've got to take bigger risks than you think you need to necessarily. But at the same time as well, you've got to do what's right by you and the skill set that you have and are able to accomplish, right? It's simple to say the fact that you think your skills like may have no value, or the fact that you don't really have anything. If that's the case, that's a problem with you and not your employer, right? If you don't have confidence in what you're in and what you can do, that's a you problem, and you will be taken advantage of because of it. So you need to fix that. And how do you gain confidence? How do you get skill sets? You invest in yourself. I've been doing that for years, learning new skills, learning new things that are applicable that I can add to what I know in my knowledge base. Is all of it useful? Nah, probably not. But I would say it kept my sanity through stuff that I may have found more difficult while waiting for more applicable options to come available. Right? I mean, for instance, like creating videos on YouTube, although I don't have many subscribers or stuff like that, and you know, a small portion enjoy the videos I put up. To me, that's enough because I've developed skills, I've kept a consistency up with that as well, while also balancing work, social life, family, friends, and everything else as well. Like, I've got like a stupid amount of videos on this channel overall that I've kept up with varying degrees of quality. But there are things where I can sit back and say, you know, actually the time investment I have in there has been worthwhile, you know? And that's stuff you really got to think about when you are kind of looking in those environments, right? Take some longer, actually. Oh, cool. So we can go back now. Overall, is it something where, like, this constant reevaluation in today's society is something where I think was more ingrained into me because of poor work environments from the past, right? Not like they were terrible, but they were quite kind of confidence destroying because of those aspects, right? So they specifically would try to make you feel inadequate in some way, shape, or form to make sure that you didn't leave or didn't question, didn't ask for pay raises and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer in, like, if your company's doing well, you should be paying people what they're worth. Stop arguing over it, right? Get an upgrade to our cult. Delightful. But you would be surprised on how many of them will try to avoid that as much as possible, which is just terrible, right? In the Silk Cradle, find Jalala. We will take that. Please spare me. Yage. Join. Join the precious cult. So yeah, I always tend to think that you kind of always need some outlet for things you end up doing, right? Welcome to the cult, my friend. And you can just go to mining. Do I think, like, overall, like, maybe, like, part of me is overreacting? Like, I constantly analyze stuff anyway, like, of course I do. I'm never not thinking I'm like, overanalyzing something. I'm always thinking that, because I'm overanalyzing it. I'm overanalyzing my overanalyzing. Is that healthy? Is that something that I should be doing? Probably not, but it is something where it's becoming more and more applicable for me to do that, in a sense of just like, am I getting the best out of the things that I want to get out? But, you know, am I actually applying what I have in the correct manner? Am I succeeding in the ways that I want to succeed? All that stuff, right? If I'm not, something needs to change. Am I, like, digging this tree up rather than actually cutting it down? I think I was. But it is something where I would, like, you know, I would probably say for a lot of people, we would all benefit from that sort of level of self-reflection sometimes. You know, are you getting the best out of what you're getting? You should be getting the best out of. Are you not getting the best of what you are getting the best out of? Is this something where you should be sort of like double-checking things? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it depends on what you want and what you want to do to succeed, you know, succeed, live, entertain yourself, buy nice things. Not everything has to be earning as much money as possible. It just has to be doing enough for you to be happy, right? And you can't be happy if you spend all your time working. Like, it was one of the things that I used to work my backside off going to uni and stuff, and then basically through the holidays, so I had the option of me just being like, oh yeah, I can now just chill out when I go back to uni and not worry about money. I can spend as much as I want, I can just relax and enjoy things and all that jazz, you know? Let's put all the seeds down. Do I think, like, overall stuff like that is necessarily, like, the way I want to be doing things? That's debatable, right? You know, the whole work hard, play hard lifestyle is just something that I was always brought up on as such, shall we say. And not like in a bad way, but more in like a, you know, I'm from that generation that was more, you know, to, you know, pull up your sleeves and put a bit of elbow grease into it. Which more kind of stems from like how my generation was taught to deal with situations more than it has actually of like my work ethic. I think one of the things that I realized, like, especially with like different environments of me going through and doing all sorts of stuff like that, was... Has everyone eaten? Cool. That's great. Oh, you're going to throw up, aren't you? Just... Okay. No, fine, you pooped. That's alright. Don't worry, actually we might build the outhouse. Should we do that before we do another quick run before I call it a day? Maybe. Maybe indeed. If I can build one, that is. Can I build one? I don't have it yet. Oh, I do have it, I just don't have the planks. Of course. Planks. There we go. Set the planks up. Let's go. Well, there you go. We'll do another run. And I guess we're going through... Ah, someone's ill. Who's ill? Who's the one that's ill? I don't know. Who is ill? Oh, you are ill. You know what? You're too far away. I'll spend the flowers. So, one of the jobs I did was basically working with sales, and I will say I'm not a natural born salesman, right? I'm too nice, I'm empathetic, I'm understanding. I don't really have the idea of, like, I want to make as much money as possible for myself and my company. So it's kind of a different sort of way of doing it. Was I successful in that as a salesman? To be honest, yeah, I was. Was I amazing? I had my own sense of style about it. So it wasn't something that I would say, like... I wouldn't say, like, I was, like, amazingly good at stuff, or... You know, I was the be-all or end-all when it came to, like, making sales or stuff. That's not what I was about, right? You know, I treated my customers like I would treat my family, and... Although that's kind of cliche to say it like that, that's exactly who I was, right? Took too much damage there as well. And that's kind of how, you know, I got along with people. If I stayed a bit longer, I probably had quite a high returning client base if I was there for a full cycle and stuff. But I wasn't, because, as I said, although I was, you know, I could do it, the work wasn't exactly something that I was innately built to do, right? in the sense of like, it didn't fit my personality style or my own style as such as a person, more than it was just me being kind of, you know, friendly, like I normally was. So, the one thing I kind of like took away from that job though, ooh, we get to unlock this as well, nice and delightful. Ooh, the glimmers is gold, guaranteed. Midas Cave, open 7 days. New area unlocked, very nice. So one thing I did end up like taking away from that was the fact that... Oh, he's going to do that thing again, isn't he? Come on then. I am not what I once was, though longer wise. No longer wise. I am no fool. I know the end draws near. I can take some comfort in confession. The blame hangs heavy around my neck. I introduced him to ideas of change, for my domain is knowledge and is ever evolving. An organic state of being no fool for myself, but for him, most unnatural death cannot float backward. It was I who had him chained, forced into subjugation by the four of us. Subjugate as you two shall be, make peace with, and bow to me lamb. No, refuse. I lie in the disguise of a lamb. I expect no less from the vassal of the Red Crown. Very well, war is my domain. But yeah, so the one thing I did learn from actual like sales and stuff was the fact that I gotta have more confidence in myself, and also like the things I was capable of doing. Like, surprisingly enough, it's really weird to think about it like that, right? I went into an industry that probably was not my expertise. I used the skills and knowledge I had from areas that were not applicable technically in sales, or at least were not something that people widely used in sales. And I succeeded in doing that role enough to the point where I probably could have made a living from it, right? And that would have been my probably one goal. I could have made a very good living off it if I wanted to. You know, maybe push the bounds of morality a little bit. But that's a debate for like other discussions and stuff on whether we believe people are like that or not, right? For me, I was happy and content enough with, you know, not trying to scam people. Oh, let's go rescue this person. But for me, you know, the main thing the thing I learned was the ability to, like, you know, have that level of confidence, and also what that actually means from your decision-making point of view, right? You got to realize that having that level of confidence in yourself is what makes you successful, not what you do and everything else beyond it. And a good example I always say to a lot of people is the amount of people that literally spew BS at you and somehow get everything handed to them by spewing that BS, right? You all know the people, right? We all know them. Like, we've probably got one of our friend group right now that does the exact same thing. I was one of those people at one point. I'm not going to deny that I was. You know, to deny that would be to deny the advantages that I had at the time. But at the same time, like, it wasn't something that I didn't work for. So that's kind of like, you know, the thing you got to discuss as well. Like, those are the small things. Like, everyone works hard to get where they are, no matter whatever they do. And just because someone is more successful than you doesn't necessarily mean that you've done any worse or better than them overall, right? Let's get some more cult members, shall we? This one's on the house. I will take it, my friend. But we shall see. We shall see. But yeah. I mean, it's always the small things, right? You gotta really sort of like debate on them, think about them, where you want to go, what you want to do. But investing in yourself, you can never go wrong. Investing in a job is something that you have an issue with, right? Investing in a career that doesn't give you any benefit is something that's an issue. But investing in yourself can never go wrong. Like a lot of my friends, especially for like some of the jobs I do, worry that, you know, like when you worry that computers and AI would take over your position. I turned and said, it's like, if an AI could have done what I could do, I would already be out of a job. If an AI could be ever capable of doing what I could do, I wouldn't be in the job. And that's pretty much the way the conversation normally ends up going. Doesn't mean AI couldn't eventually, you know, learn in some way, shape, or form, but that's why you gotta have diverse skill sets. That's why you gotta be indispensable, right? For me, the most important thing is my analytical skills and my ability to see things and process stuff in ways that people don't normally think about, right? In both the right sense and the wrong sense. That was one thing I learned quite well. Zealous Sword. Interesting. Or just normal blunderbuss. I'd rather just go for the blunderbuss here. Oh, someone died. Should have sacrificed him before we left. That's my fault. My Colts will no longer be happy. Yeah, that was something that I probably should eventually, but I kind of like, you know, picked up on a while back, was knowing how stuff goes wrong is sometimes more important than knowing stuff going right. Right? So, like, understanding a thought process and how the kind of like flawed logic or how an error can occur sometimes is more important than actually being able to solve the error itself, yeah? And I basically, you know, I've made a freelance career of it. Not in the sense of actually like problem solving, but pointing out how the problems occurred in the first place and, you know, pointing out that this is what you need to solve to fix the problem, right? I generally do find it funny, though, that actually ends up happening, right? Like, I was always good at, like, solving puzzles and problem solving, but at no point did I ever think to myself, you know, people would pay me money to point out problems. Seems rather backward, not for me to solve them, just to point them out. The solution will cost you extra. There we go. Let's move on. Let's see the final phase on this one. But yeah, I mean, it's all about managing stuff, right? Being applicable in skill sets that are, you know, maybe sort of outside there, and then as a business, you need to be able to utilize the skills, the people that you have around you. You'd be surprised at how much businesses just don't invest or don't appreciate the skill sets you may have and the things you actually do for them overall. Like, not in like a negative way, but the same way that as a child, you sometimes don't appreciate what your parents do because you don't really understand it, right? Like, that's the main reason that your employer is the same, right? Your employer doesn't know what you do for them overall unless you specifically tell them what you're doing, and in some cases that feels a bit redundant. It's like, well, they should know what I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, but they hired you to do a job, and if you're doing that job, they don't really know what you're doing or how you're doing it. Otherwise, why would they hire you if they could do it themselves, right? At least that's my thought process on it anyway. Like, whether that's actually true or not is sort of, you know, depends on the employers and stuff, right? In most cases, you employ someone because the fact that it's more time efficient for them to do it is for you to do it. Which essentially was what one of my jobs was, is it was more time efficient to employ me at a lower salary than theirs was to actually complete a task that they could do or stuff like that, right? Does that mean my job was anything less than theirs? Not necessarily, but it meant the fact that I was saving them enough time to warrant employing me. And that's sort of the thing, like, that's some of the things you got to remember, right? It's all about cost and what's about savings. Yeah, it's worth upgrading. At least I get more out of it, rather than just nothing. You know, a company doesn't have to be beholden to you just because you do a good job, right? They're in it for the money in the long haul, like everyone else is. Is that bad of them? Yeah, it is. Like, never think it isn't, because that's how they get you. You know, never do favors for free, all that jazz. The other thing is, as well, is never shoot yourself in the foot either, right? You'd be surprised how many people do that, and I've been guilty of that myself, right? Doing something because, like, I'm like, well, what's the worst could happen, right? Like, what are they going to do to me? And then realizing, like, actually, yeah, that's a dumb idea. What? Let me just kill this guy off. I want to kill this guy off now. There we go. Man, that was a really weird fight. The amount of enemies on screen was insane. Convert you as well, my friend. We have like 4 new cult members just from one run again. That's insane. Beats. Because beats. No, because beats eat bears. Very nice, another rundown. But yeah, I mean, it's always about those tiny things and like what you got to do, and I guess that part of my life is where I'm going to that phase again of like analysing things and what I want to be doing and stuff is happening up again. A little bit more than normal. Ooh, hello. So thou art the creature causing the ether of this world to ripple and warp. It has been an age since I have made the acquaintance of a new sort of idol. Continue in this fashion, and we shall meet again. Hence, if not, be thankful of our meeting now. But there we go. Oh, my cult's at whole time low and everything else. Sorry, dude. Oh, come on, man. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Right? Many things are always fairly interesting. Bury you in there. We'll start cleaning up a little bit. The cult is not in a happy phase. Yeah, it is kind of the whole point of, like, what is sort of those expectations I have set myself, those rules, the things I believe that will have the grandest impact, things that will give the quickest return, the things I want to invest in myself, you know? If not, then, like, you know, what are you really looking over, right? Oh yeah, we rescued you, I forgot about that. You know, before you die. There's a dissenter. Prison. And you are sick, my friend, so you need to go to... Oh, welcome, my friend. Get accepted into the cult. Get the other guy to go to bed as well. Why can't I... Oh, they've been reunited. I see. Let's just heal some people up, shall we? Heal. We'll spend the flowers. Like, overall, are they big deals? Like, no, not really. Are they deal breakers for me? There is, you know... There are arguments to that, and... the fact that I'm thinking about it means that, you know, it's something that I'm thinking about, right? Those are things you have to realise, and you've got to recognise that. If you're already thinking about it, it's kind of probably something where you are going to make that decision sooner rather than later. For good or bad. You know? And that's what you have to be. That's all you have to be. You should just be aware of your options and make those decisions. Janitorial station, please. I would like the ability for someone else to clean all this stuff up rather than just me all the time. Would be nice. Yeah, I guess we'll leave it there for today. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, do leave a like, and as you are doing, subscribe to see more, because I do again appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.